So I'm live now. Okay. 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 So it has something to do with the stream settings I put up. Yeah. Hey, sorry everyone. I tried some new stream settings on OBS, and strangely it made the delay between the stream and like me speaking, like it was like super long. Like I couldn't see that I was live when I clicked live. It was so strange. Sorry about that. Jeez. Sorry for the late start. I tested this the other day and I didn't have this problem, and now it's just like a weird. Huh. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna try some other stuff later, but let's actually make some work here, because that was way too long and too weird. I can't believe that happened. Okay, well, shit. Way to really take me off course. Yeah, we're making effects today. Sorry about the delay. Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me? Kotek Ninja, tell me if you can hear me, if you're still here. Jeez, man. Okay, fine. I don't. That was wild. Okay. Man, that shit was crazy. Wow, that was insane. That was crazy. Okay. Opening up Photoshop. Just open a 512 by 512 document. Today we're gonna just be puttering around a little bit VFX wise. If anyone's here, I just wanted to talk about chromatic aberration, because I think it's a cool concept that people are using a little bit more in their work these days, and so I thought it might be kind of cool to tackle something that looks a little bit more chromatic, which chromatic aberration is just when you get that kind of rainbowy effect when light bends through prisms or surfaces like pool water and things like that. It just provides this kind of interesting rainbowy type effect, and I figured it might be kind of cool to take a shot at that. I've done this before in some other types of effects. Sorry, I'm just putting the Twitch chats in OBS back into place. I was doing a bunch of just, when something breaks and you just start throwing shit at the wall, like I wonder if it's this, I wonder if it's this. It's just the stream settings. I tried some unique output settings to give myself a little bit more quality on the stream, and I guess it causes an extremely long delay between the what I'm doing in the stream. I'm gonna try to figure that out in the future. Really, what I wanted to do was start with Flame Painter. Which I don't know if any of you have heard of Flame Painter before, but Flame Painter is like it gives you it lets you paint kind of a beautiful brushstrokey type feel without having to be a really great artist. So we're gonna do Flame Painter. Sorry, just open up the Twitch chat again to make sure that I am indeed live and things are happening. Man, I really want to test. I mean, shit. If I lost you already, I lost you, I guess. I really want to test to see. I changed my video bitrate, and I started using my graphics card, my new graphics card, as an encoder. And yeah, it caused some weird stream delay stuff. I'm trying not to like hold on to that, but I'm upset that that's how this started. So Flame Painter allows you to just do kinds of shapes like this, right? Where you just get this kind of flowy, you know, kind of wispy feel to the painting. And so normally what I'll do is I'll use it to get that kind of texture, and then I'll make it into something else, like in a Photoshop or some other document. So you can kind of throw the little dots out there a little bit and then kind of paint something like this. And if you're good, which I was not there, you'll stop at the end of the canvas and you'll get something you can actually use. So Flame Painter is kind of cool. If you've never used it before, it's a pretty awesome program that lets you do this kind of wispy stuff. I'm gonna just get myself something that works. I actually like this one, so I'm gonna save it. And then I'm gonna do one or two more. Essentially, we're gonna take this texture, we're gonna make it tile on the left and right side of the canvas, and then we're gonna throw this into an effect that I think would be kind of cool. So that's the idea. So we'll save. Where is my project files? Trying to not be flustered by that weird start, because that was unfortunate. Trying real hard to like grow this this portion of Let's Make Effects, so it's tough when unforeseen circumstances kind of rear their head here. So it's all right. New folder. We're gonna call it Texture. And in Texture, I'm gonna do Flame 1. We'll do one or two more just to like get ourselves a good good little bit of this. So you can clear over here, and again, you can kind of fling these things up and down and then paint something. And if you're good, you'll get it to stop at the end of the canvas there. That one's not bad. And then you can snipping tool or one of these things and like copy, and then you know, do the due diligence of painting out the seams. So we'll maybe do one more, because I actually really like this program. I think it's fun. Save Flame 2. I guess I could be saving these as PNGs to save myself a step or something, but I guess Photoshop's not going to care. Here we go. Okay, so one more. Let's see if we can get something pretty unique and interesting. That's not bad. I pressed a little harder that time. It's not bad. We'll save that one too. Who's with me here? People are here. Awesome. Okay, happy Saturday, everyone. Again, sorry about the late start. Some weird technical difficulties that I'll have to troubleshoot when I'm not teaching. But thank you for coming. Happy Saturday. Thank you for being here. We're gonna call this Flame 3. We'll do one more. We'll call it Flame 4, and then we'll use it, because no need to be perfect in this, which I try to preach all the time. Perfection's not really that important in this stuff. I don't like that one. That one's bad too. A little too rough at the end. We'll get what we need here. I gotta let them kind of get together a little bit. Fling them up a little. Yeah, oh, that one sucked. Okay, here we go. Ew, gross. Okay, here we go. Up, down. Nah, I don't like that. Okay, we may have reached our peak for what we can do here. Oh, that one's good. I like that one a lot. Okay, we might actually go with that one. Persistence, y'all. That's what it's about out here. Let's see. Let's get us a little snip, and then we'll go to Photoshop and we'll do the thing here. Okay. So we'll save. We'll call this Flame 4. Let's go paint out some seams. We'll throw this into Unreal Engine and we'll make something cool here. Again, happy Saturday, everyone. What's going on? What's everybody doing today? Let's see. Okay, we'll close down Flame Painter. Actually, we'll go over to. I saved something that I thought looked kind of nice. It's this. So there's this. You see, there's this kind of like rainbowy ring at the start of this effect. This kind of rainbowy halo. So that's chromatic aberration, that weird kind of halo-y, glowy bits that kind of happens in an effect. I'm going to try to do something in this vein, but with a little bit more of that kind of flame painter style. So we'll see. But mad respect, this effect is really pretty for a what looks like a non-stylized environment. So. All right, so over here in Photoshop, we're gonna let's import. Let's go to what am I doing? My computer desktop, and the hell am I doing? Oh, it's not desktop where I put these. I put them in yeah, here, chromatic aberration. So yeah, we'll want to maybe I'll drag in number 4 here, and oh, interesting, we got a little extra bit on the top there. We're gonna make this tile from left to right, and then we'll drop it into a yeah, let's do it this way. Save as, and then in here we'll, yeah, it should be in textures. We'll make this into a PSD, and we'll call it Flame 4, and we'll say okay. Disregard the harsh red lines. That's just me. I have the grid on, which I'll turn off right now. Show grid. I'll put my glasses on here so I'm not squinting at the screen. Okay. All right, everyone. Let's have some fun. Here we go. So, we're gonna need a background layer, because we may or may not. Maybe we'll just do this with a singular mask, and then do the chromatic stuff in a shader. I'll just fill this with black. Never know if we're gonna go that way. Select image. What am I doing? Layer, new background layer. So now we have a background layer. So on this layer, we're just gonna make a few minor adjustments here. We'll do this, and we'll fill them with black. Now get rid of that, and then what we'll do is do a. I think we probably can paint out right from the start this little bulge of stuff over here. I don't think it's helping us at all. So what I'll do is get a soft brush here, and we'll go 50% on the opacity and flow, and we'll just kind of softly paint that stuff out real quick. Got my tablet over here. Here we go. Tablet gone. Get my little brush here. Where's my brush? It's probably behind me. Yes, it is. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, we'll just go over here to this side of the canvas, and we'll just paint kind of softly. Oh, other way around. Paint softly with black. To kind of get this to be a little less visible. Okay, and then we'll do a quick dog KB is next to me, so if you hear any kind of like licking or anything like that, that's your boy over there, just hanging out, being a true companion dog. We won't do any vertical. We'll just move horizontally a little bit. So we'll get try to put the seam that you see there right in the center, and then we'll just do a little kind of smart painting. And the way you can kind of paint this stuff out is you can use the clone stamp tool. So we come up here to clone stamp and we alt maybe stamp this piece. We can kind of paint in some of this other piece here and try to like softly with that soft black brush again paint out parts we don't want. And yeah, see, and that's kind of nice, right? It's not too hard of a transition there. If I just kind of erase away, and it's nice. We're kind of Bob Rossing it today. Try to have some good vibes since this started so bumpy. Oh, we got 4 people in the building. Hello, everyone who showed up. Let me know you're here. Tell me who you are. Thank you for coming. Happy Saturday. Let's see. So this should tile now. One of the things I want to do is go over to layers and go to image levels, and I want to try to bring the color so that we get our brightest brights and darkest darks showing pretty well here. Because the texture we worked out was, oh hi, someone with a Bob Ross, yeah. How do you say that username? Is that Henya the creator? I love the Bob Ross emote. Thanks for coming. Okay, so we're gonna save this. This is just gonna be our the start to our cool effect here. So the way this is gonna work is we need a power of 2 image. The image that I cropped from Flame Painter isn't gonna be that, so let's come over here to our image size and let's get some powers of 2 going here. I'll probably do 1024, and that height can maybe be 512. How do I want to do this? Yeah, let's do 512, and then we'll zoom. Ooh, this is still pretty visible now that I did that, so that's good. We'll paint that out. Wait, all the levels I didn't do an adjustment layer. I want to do it as a new adjustment layer. That way I can actually mess with this after we get this to be perfect. So yeah, so we'll just drag in this stuff until we get to kind of that bottom space there on the slope. We'll say okay, and then we'll go up here to image size, and we'll do that same image size. We'll do 1024 by 512, and we could probably even get away with less here when we get it done. Let's do we'll do canvas size, and this will apply a kind of a crop effect. We'll do pixels, and maybe we'll do 256. Maybe we don't need that extra space on the top and the bottom. Yeah, see, it's pretty good. So I'll grab the texture, hold Alt, and I'll pull in from top and bottom to make sure we get all of the info we need here. And then what's good about levels is I can come over here. This wouldn't be how I'd leave the texture, but I could ramp these up pretty high, and it'll give me a good sense of where this texture actually lands on the texture space, and then I can actually do like a paint out in relation to that, and then just set the levels back the other way again. So I'm just going to use that soft black brush here, and I'm going to try to paint this until it's a little bit less kind of visible. Just a couple more. I don't need to be perfect, but we definitely don't want, to be able to see too much remove this down here. So I'm doing it in passes. It doesn't feel like we're really getting a whole lot to be removed here. So let's go back to, you know what, let's just turn up to about 60. That way we know every pass is like almost double of what we were before. Yeah, there you go. See, and now it's, we just paint it out a little bit. We're not gonna leave the texture this way, but it's just nice to actually have something that's doing the job for us, pushing away that stuff from the edge. In the end, it's gonna look more like this. Oop, turn that back on. Like this, where I pull the, yeah, it's gonna look more like that in the end, which is great. So we'll say okay, we'll save this. And then we may or may not use those other flames, but I like flame 4, I think it's good. We'll import this stuff. This is UE5, the new slick editor, which I think is great. I just bought a new graphics card, which is the reason for all of the technical difficulties at the start of this thing. I made some changes to how OBS streams for me, and I think I messed it up. I'm new to streaming, so I messed it up. But I appreciate everyone showing up and coming. We're gonna make this a materials folder. Let's capitalize our M here. And in the materials folder, we're gonna right click and create a new material. And this material is gonna be called M_chroma ring. Let's just call it that. Because we might do some other chroma stuff. So again, today we're doing some chromatic aberration stuff. We're just we're gonna try to make some cool, colorful, rainbowy stuff. So happy Saturday! Thanks for coming. Here we go. I don't know why it thinks we need to import more stuff. Oh, maybe it was just still waiting on the textures. Yeah, yes to all. Override them all. It's all good to me. So we're gonna drop a texture in here. So this texture is gonna be that flame texture, and this, just to make sure it looks like the texture we made. Yes, it does. Okay, cool. Is gonna be our kind of piece we're gonna demo with here. So we're gonna make this for right now. We'll keep it opaque for the moment, but we're gonna do unlit so we don't get a whole bunch of lighting. And I'm just gonna plug the mask into the emissive channel, and we're gonna get a good look at what this looks like. So it's on a plane, and we're not really, finished yet, but that's pretty good. It's got like kind of that flowy, wispy feel to it, which is great. So chromatic aberration is that rainbow stuff like I talked about. It's that light bending prism, science-y stuff. Essentially, you get a rainbow when the sun projects through kind of a clear surface, and then bends, and then it creates these kind of separated color scenarios. So the way you can do that in your shader is by taking a mask or whatever math you're doing to make a mask and replicating it 3 times. And then if you do so, if you grab your texture coords, so texture coordinates is really what they are is UV position, right? Your texture in every real-time space is laid flat on a UV surface that's 0 to 1, and this, if you add or change the position of the UVs, it changes the position of the texture, right? So the general position of the texture right now is 0 to 1, and the position is stationary. But if I wanted to say move this texture on the UV space, I could use an add here, and if I just add a slight offset, so like a 0.5 would be half the distance in the UV space, this texture is going to move half the distance, right? So it went down and to the right, in the X and in the Y it moved, right? Because you have 2 positions. Texture coordinates are made up of 2 positions. They're a vector 2, and they have an X and a Y position, and together they make up the texture coordinates. And since we added just flatly to texture coordinates, it added 0.5 to both the x and the y. If we wanted to add separately, we could do an append here. And an append is just a way to combine two float values or singular channels of data together to make a vector 2. And if we want to add to the texture coordinates separately, we get a vector 2, and we'll get individual values for x and y, just like the texture coordinates are constructed of x and y data. And then we could add those together separately. So A, in terms of this append, turning into a vector 2 would be the x coordinate, and B would be the y coordinate. So if I only wanted to move it left and right, I could add to the x and add 0 to the y, and that would shift me to the left or to the right half the UV space, right? So now the texture is shifted to the right, but not up and down. If I wanted to shift it up and down and not left and right, I could go 0 here and then go 0.5, right? So adding value to the texture coordinates shifts the position of the UVs, of the texture on the UV space, right? So the point of me showing you that is we just learned how to append, and we just learned how to shift the position of a texture on the UV space. And what's required to make chromatic aberration happen is those two tenets. All of these textures, if I unhook this texture coordinate, are all laying in the same position, but chromatic aberration is like each texture slightly shifted up and down, left and right a little bit, and then appended together makes chromatic aberration. So I'll just show you what that looks like right now. If I was to plug this back into the UV space, and we'll just call this, I was gonna name these. It's just gonna be 3 channels of data. This can be red, green, blue, right? So we'll just do that. We'll do this here. We'll go R, then we'll go G. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before. They come in handy if you just want to label something, some very specific node with something. You can just tap this little kind of word bubble, comment bubble thing here, and it'll give you a little space where you can drop some stuff. Seems like we got a 5th person in the room. Hello, happy Saturday. Thanks for coming. We're talking about chromatic aberration. And if you were here earlier and you saw kind of a bumpy start to this, I'm sorry about that. A little technical difficulty here. So yeah, so if we just leave the center one to be 0, 0, but we use a different value to add to our texture coordinates on our red channel. So we'll use texture coordinates because they're just generic and we want to add to them every time, so we can use the same node for that. A separate add here, we can slightly offset our texture coordinates. We'll do it with a singular value as opposed to a separate append. Actually, I want you all to understand that there's 2 values actually happening here, so I'll do it with 2. So we'll go slightly down and to the right for red, and we'll add this to the texture coordinates, and we'll plug that in. And here's what I'll do. I'll start by doing an append over here. So now we have those masks, and if we append them together, and we plug this into emissive color, see, we got 2 colors of data here, the start to our rainbowy effect, but they're not, it's not perfect yet. I think our offset's too much. We probably want like a 0.02, and then a 0.02 in the other one. 0.2. Yeah, right? So we're a little closer to that kind of rainbowy feel. We don't have our blue color yet. So let's make that happen here. So now that you understand that this is 2 channels of data, what Unreal does for us if we add a singular float value to a vector 2 is that it just makes a vector 2 for us. Because it just understands that you want to add the same value to both channels of data. So instead of changing that value twice and just using the same value twice, because we're going to use the same value, I'm going to put 1 in, and then Unreal Engine essentially assumes that I want to add that value to both the X and Y channels, right? So we got the start to our little kind of rainbow chromatic-y effect here, and we'll just disregard this. And since we're adding nothing to G, we'll just plug direct texture coordinates into that. But we'll use this down here, and we'll do the same thing, copy, paste, but instead of adding 0.01, we're going to add a negative 0.01. We're going to go down and to the right. And if we add that to here and we use that in the UV space, now we're pushed down a little bit. And if we append again for a third time, making this a vector 3, which for your info, a vector 3, if you hold 3 and left click, creates a vector 3, has 3 channels of data, not 2 channels like the texture coordinate or the thing we were appending with, but 3. And 3 channels of data equals a color in graphics programming. So you can have a red, a green, and a blue channel, and if you mix the values of those channels together, you can get a whole slew of colors. So if we append again, we will get our blue color added to this, and then we could plug that color into emissive color, and we'll get something that's looking a little bit more chromatic. Right? So now we have that kind of awesome rainbowy chromatic effect that you often see in people's work. And it's super simple, right? It's like 3 masks kind of combined together with slight offsets. And then you get something chromatic. So that's super cool. I love that. So instead of trying to do some math to like bend this around in a circle the way we saw in the reference material, I'm gonna use a mesh instead. So I'm gonna save my work here, and I'm gonna open up Blender. Blender is my modeling program of choice. If you're new to this channel, you're gonna see me use Blender and pretty much no other modeling program. I use only free tools because I want the barrier to entry for learning how to do this work to be really low for people. My hope is that everyone can follow what I'm doing and not feel too hamstrung or held back by how much money they have. My hope is that everybody can develop games if that's their desire. So we're gonna save this. We just drag select everything with our left click, drag, select everything, and then if you hit X on the keyboard or delete, it'll allow you to delete everything. So empty start. We're gonna save this as, and we're gonna go over to our Twitch stream folder, and that was last week about soul coasters, and we'll go in here to content, and we'll make a models folder. So new folder, and we'll call this models, and that's good. Can everybody hear me all right? I got this mic arm a while back, and since I've been streaming more lately, I decided I would try it, but I just want to make sure it's not like making the sound quality too poor or anything. Just let me know if it sounds weird. So yeah, so we're here in the modeling folder, and we're just going to call this cylinder ring or something of that nature. Let me move my my tablet out of the way so I can get a little more space to talk to everyone. We'll grab this back in a second. Got my keyboard here. So yeah, so we'll just call this ring cylinder ring. Doesn't matter really. We're in the models folder. We'll call it. We'll save this Blender folder. We don't have a cylinder yet. The way we get that is we go up here to add. I'm using Blender 2.9, by the way, if anyone was curious. And we go to cylinder, and it drops a cylinder in here. So if we are selected on that cylinder and we hit tab, we go into edit mode in Blender. And if we select the top of this mesh and we hit delete, we delete the top face, and we can select the bottom one and delete that face as well. So if we go to vertex selection mode and we turn on X-ray, because here in Blender, if you don't turn on X-ray and you're in, say, side view and you try to drag select, you won't get all of the verts. You'll only get the ones that are currently visible to this camera angle, and that sucks. I wanted all of them. So I often just go directly into X-ray mode to make sure to alleviate that problem. So what I'll do is I'll scale the bottom, and we'll scale the top a little bit, and then I'll just position them with the move tool to be to make kind of a flat ring. So our texture is going to lay on this, right? Because of how UVs work, which I'll open up the UVs for everyone here and go to UV editor, and we'll select everything. Because they're on the UV space 0 to 1, just like I was talking to you about before in the shader editor, our texture starts and stops on the left and right of the texture of the UV space. And because this mesh goes in a circle and stops and starts, you know, here on one of these axes, I can't remember if it's X or Y, but we can certainly select and find out. If you go up here, we can match our selection here to what's going on in the engine. So yeah, so here, so our texture would stop here and start here and go around this surface and then stop here. And because we made it seamless, it'll be a full and complete circle of texture information laid out on this UV space, which is cool. This is a very common way that VFX artists will create, use meshes to create shapes without having to like draw them in a circle and things like that. So it's the UV space is cut in half, or the mesh laid out, the UVs are only on half of the UV space. I want it on the full UV space. So if I hit N here and I type 1 for Y, 0 for Y, it'll pull these down. So now the texture we made in Photoshop here that covers like a full, you know, rectangle of data will also be used in a full a full square here, because the engine compresses that into a square as opposed to a long rectangle after you import that texture. So it'll fit on this space and it'll tile perfectly. So we'll save this and we'll do a quick export FBX cylinder ring, and we'll drop that FBX here. I don't know if that actually went the way that I wanted, so I'm going to save and then export one more time and make sure that the selected object is, oh, it was. Okay, cool. I'll hit it again. Why not? So now back here in the editor, it'll let us import, and I just do import, and I don't worry about any of the settings. It always says the smooth groups thing, and I don't really care about that. So we haven't saved our demo space, so we'll save all, and we'll save the current level in a new folder called maps. And in maps, we'll call this space demo map. I pretty much do this every time. And what we'll do is we'll drop our mesh into this space. Let me make sure I'm checking on Twitch to make sure everybody's here and doesn't have any questions. So yeah, so we'll go ahead and hey, by the way, everyone let me know how the quality of the stream is too. I want to make sure that it's not choppy or weird for anyone. So just give me a heads up if it's bad. So in the content drawer, we're going to come over here to models, and we're just going to drop the model we made in Blender right here in the space. And we'll hit G to just hide everything. So it's kind of nice. It's there's nothing real special going on with it yet, but we're going to add the work we just did in the material editor to this surface. So back here, instead of using this flat material, we're going to use a material instance and hit enter. The reason I would use a material instance here is because at some point we're going to change the values of the various parameters we may expose to our instance, and a material instance allows us to change those on the fly. So we'll do a little save all here, make sure everything's working correct, and we will drag onto this mesh the material. So boom. So now the material's on the mesh. It's a little what's the word I'm trying to find here? Slatted. I think the mesh is oh, maybe I never smoothed it. I don't think I smoothed it, did I? Oh, it looks smooth. I find that to be strange. You look smooth. Well, anyway, I think it's going to need a little bit more, a couple more edge loops. And let's just do, what am I doing? Shade smooth, just to make sure. Tab, and let's just do, yeah, smooth that puppy. Yeah. I know. We're gonna get there here. Mark, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Here we go. What I'm gonna do is go over here to modifiers, and I'm gonna add a subdivision surface modifier. Just gives me a little bit more smoothness on the outer edge here. Maybe we don't need two, probably just one is fine, but we'll apply and we'll just make sure we didn't like blow our budget. Yeah, okay, cool, that's perfect. So now the geo looks like this, right? It's just got a couple more edges and it's a little bit more kind of flat and round. And so we'll save and we'll export the FBX here to be cylinder ring, and we'll export, and back in editor, we will import, and yeah, now it's a little bit more flat, which is great. So one of the things that's kind of interesting about this effect is that we can give ourselves the ability to decide how far away that this aberration actually kind of takes place. So we're using a value of, have you considered trying, I don't know what that is. Danimal. I don't know what that is. You let me know. Drop a link or something. I've never heard of that before. Nigging's gate/door VFX. Never seen it. So we're gonna create a parameter here. So we'll hold S and left click, and we'll just call this position offset, and that'll give us the ability to change the offset position here. And we'll multiply our blue channel by -1 because we want it, or yeah, because we want this value to be negative. We can just do that. And now since we know the value we're using for our offset is going to be the same value, we can set it singularly, multiply this one by -1, so this one is negative, and then add that to the UVs. So now this value, this offset value, will be our new way of offsetting, how, deciding how far our chromatic aberration goes. So we'll save that, and we'll go back to the editor, and in our material instance, which I'll just drag down here to the bottom corner, and we'll just look here. So if I enable position offset and I slide this, you can see I'm changing that distance, right? So I can decide kind of how chromatic I want this thing to be. Slight offsets are pretty cool. So I don't think 0.1 is a bad value, but I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that you can change that value if you'd like. It feels like everything here is a bit offset, right? We may want to do kind of a general, which is really interesting to me. Maybe a general offset, because maybe we want to push this down. It just feels like we're not getting a whole lot of texture information towards the, and maybe not, and maybe that's okay too, because maybe the way we use this is like vertically. But one of the things you're not seeing right now is, or that you are seeing right now, is a black background. Instead of that, let's make this not opaque anymore. Let's make this translucent, or maybe even additive might be kind of cool. And we'll use, interesting. We can do a maybe cheap contrast might work for us here. Let's just make sure this is gonna work the way I want. I can add something to, so a cool way I sometimes check these material functions, because sometimes the preview display that they do is kind of wonky, is I'll just add 0 and then preview that node instead. So that's a little workaround trick. So I think we're gonna get all of the color data from that cheap contrast. I believe we will, but if we won't, then I will just add all three add all three masks and then saturate. But let's see. It's not as good as I thought. Let's try the add. So we'll add this mask, and this mask. And, oh, sorry. For a minute there, I was doing a Unity triple add. I actually really like that as a node in Unity's program. I don't often use Unity, but I do like seeing that there's a triple multiple, which we could make. You could easily make in this space too. Yeah, I think the add's the way to go. That would look dope if you could put that on a dynamic. Yeah. Do over the. Yeah. Well, this is definitely going to be a like in a particle space, so we're gonna add dynamic parameters and yeah. Maybe we'll do that, Mark. So it'll be like a fun little addition. Yeah, Danimal, I haven't tried it. You should drop a link. Drop a link. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. You should drop a link there and show us what that is. So I'm gonna save, and so now we got that kind of cool chromatic rainbow, which is awesome. So really what I wanted to do here was throw this effect on this mesh into a particle system and maybe make some like cool rainbowy ripples or something like this that kind of could denote the start to like a healing effect maybe. Let's go over here to the content folder and we'll create a particles folder. And in particles, we'll right click and we'll create a, we'll add a Niagara emitter, and we'll use a template, and we'll use, let's just use fountain for now. Templates they're just useful to get you started. They have all the parameters already set. So we'll call this PS. It's a really big and complex. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, throw me a link or something. I'd love to see it. PS underscore rainbow ring. There we go. So yeah, and then what we'll do is we'll right click and create a Niagara system based on that. And that'll be what we drop in the world here. And that'll just look like a bunch of falling dots for the moment, but we'll utilize the work we just did. And we'll do some fade ins and fade outs and things like that. So here in Rainbow Ring, the particle system, instead of a sprite renderer, we're just gonna delete that and we're gonna get a mesh renderer. And we're gonna get this mesh renderer and we're gonna go over here to meshes and we're gonna add the one we imported. And so now we're just throwing out a bunch of plates, right? So that's kind of cool. We're gonna throw on that mesh our material. So we're gonna override the materials here. We're gonna add our material instance. And so now we should get a bunch of rainbows coming out. There we go. There's our rainbows. Cool. That's what we wanted. I'm kind of thinking about how I could, there's like a darkness to the back of these rainbows that I was just thinking about how I could, we'll come back to that problem in a second. So it's cool, we're spitting all those out. Instead of having them fall with gravity, let's just turn that off and drag off. So now they're just gonna be right on top of each other, flying up. And instead of having any velocity in the upward direction, we'll turn off the cone. So now they're just all kind of stuck there, right? And you can see that black hue that I'm talking about. It might be nice to just do, to not have that be part of the color. I'll think about how to do that here in a second. What am I doing? Oh, I wanted to do random rotations for the mesh. So none of this sprite stuff is going to help us because we're using meshes, right? So we'll randomize the scale at some point here too, but to get the and we don't need any sphere location. To get the, let's just delete all this stuff. Sometimes when you don't delete it, it holds it in the system. UE5 is Niagara has been clunky from the start, but it's all good. Over here in particle spawn, we're gonna, actually that almost froze, and I was like, I should probably save everything. I get like all nervous. Save all. Okay, so over here in particle spawn, we're gonna find a, it's mesh orientation, I believe it is, initial mesh orientation. Yeah, and then we're gonna randomize the Z value. We're gonna do, I think we're gonna randomize Z value. So we're gonna do a make here. So we can make a vector, so it'll give us 3 values. And then for Z, we're gonna use a random range between 0 and 1. See, yeah, that's gonna turn us, and I figured it would. Let's not do that. Let's do random range for Y. One of these is it. I'm just, yeah, there we go. It should be that. Oh, are they? Huh. They still all seem to be spawning in the same direction. Maybe we need to randomize this mesh orientation. Might be, we need to randomize the axis probably is, let me do this. Make. And then we'll randomize the, oh, did we lose him? Do you think it's worth it to make the jump to UE5 at least for the for personal practice projects? Yeah, I do. It's sketchy, but it's not very different than UE4. It's this. I just wanted to show this again as what we were kind of while I answer the question. It's a little sketchy, but not in a way that would deter your work. I think it makes a whole lot of sense to get started in it. I will just be pretty frank. There are a lot of game development studios who are using UE5 already to make games. So it's the wave of the future. You know, if you want to have been a person who can say, yeah, I've been working in UE5 for XYZ amount of time, make the jump. I think it's worth it. There's nothing really different about it. It's just a little clunky is all. Did I lose my particles? Oh, they just flipped the opposite way. Okay, let's start over here. We got both to be make floats. Random range float. Yeah, -1 to 1, and then random range float. Yeah, -1 to 1. It's on particle spawn, right? Maybe there's just so many that I actually am hitting every one of them. Let's just do 10. No, yeah, so they're just in 2 directions. That's really, okay. How about this? Copy, paste. Yeah, all right, there we go. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas here. Let's just undo that. Yeah. And undo that. Now we need X and Y. Okay. Copy, paste. So we're randomizing our X and Y position. We're getting a bunch of different randoms. Do you think the shift space bar for the content browser is a game changer? Yeah. Can you import materials VFX from UE4 to 5? Yeah, you can change your project. You can upgrade it. I actually, for a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, I guess this is a good time to plug that. For my class in February, I'm teaching a virtual course. Anybody is, oh hey Zergling, happy Saturday. Everybody is welcome to join. I'm teaching a class in February of next year where we, oh yeah, Mark, yeah, it's cool. There's no limitations. You can just go in and just open an old project in UE5 and it'll just work right away. There are small changes, differences, which again, where I was going with this is I'm teaching a class in February using UE5, and a lot of the projects I was using to teach the class a couple months ago in UE4 still work in UE5, aside from tessellation and world displacement are no longer a thing in UE5. There's some new interesting stuff going on with emissives and lumens. All of that stuff will be explained and demoed in the class in February. If you're interested, you just go to letsmakeeffects.com and you can get some more info. So I'll just type that in here. Letsmakeeffects.com /level up live. So this is the class website. So if you go there, it'll take you to the course page where you can sign up for February. There's also other stuff here you can go check out and peruse. But that's the new website for Let's Make Effects. Hopefully everyone thinks it's cool. Would love to see you join the class if anyone's interested in learning more about real-time VFX and wanting to improve their skill set. We only work in Niagara. We only work in UE5. I'll teach you a bunch of stuff about shaders and cool tips and tricks. That's the point of Let's Make Effects. That's my hope, is to give everyone a bunch of info that they can grow and learn from. So what I wanted to do here was grow these meshes over time. So not in the spawn category, but in the particle update, if we come over here and we say mesh size, we can, the mesh size should be 0. Scale mesh size, it's 0, 0, 0, right? Interesting. Or I'm sorry, 1, 1, 1. Shouldn't be gone. Scale mesh size. Yeah, that's the only one, right? Yeah, interesting. Okay. Oh, maybe it's huge. Maybe it's really small. Interesting. Turn this off. Turn it on. Huh. Oh, maybe I need to have a size over here. Ah ha 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 ha. That's so funny. That's really silly that is the that's a necessity that this is set for this to work. That's really silly. Okay. Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna scale these over time. Hey, by the way, I know I'm a pretty new stream and everyone's like, just getting to know what Let's Make Effects is about. But if you'd love to support me, you can subscribe to this channel. You can support me on Patreon. You can, join the Discord. You can follow me on various platforms. And I would just really appreciate it. Just so you know, no pressure to do so, but anything that you do to support the channel is super appreciated. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna do get a float or get a vector from a float, which means it's gonna take a singular value and turn it into a vector 3. So it's gonna use that size for every axis of scale. And so now what I can do here is come over here and use curve. And so, if I could spell, float from curve. And so now you see them kind of shrinking, right? I kind of want the opposite, even though that does look cool. So I'm gonna put 0 here and I'm gonna put 1 here. So now they're kind of radiating outward, which is kind of cool, right? What they're not doing, which we haven't added to the material yet, is they're not fading out and fading in. And I think that's necessary because who likes when particles pop like that? It really is jarring. So we're gonna add in the shader here a particle color value, and we're gonna multiply this opacity by the particle color, and we're gonna throw that into opacity, and we're gonna save. While that's saving, I'm gonna check on the stream. 9 people, awesome. Hey, thanks for being here, everyone. It's really, really nice to have some people to just hang with today. Thank you for just being here with me. So, turn the camera a little bit here. 10 people, we just got a 10th. Welcome in, person number 10. Thank you for being here. So back in editor, now we're getting that fade out. And isn't that kind of cool? I think that's awesome. So instead of starting the mesh at a 0, we're going to start it at like a 0.5 maybe. So half the value. And or maybe even like a 0.3. And then instead of having like a flat linear growth, we're going to use tangents. The way you can do that is you can click on one of these graphs and you can right click and it'll give you some tangent options. Auto allows you to actually click on a key and change the tangency bar here. So if I kind of pull this up, that means it'll kind of ramp up its size pretty quickly and then kind of slow at the end. And that's just a little bit more interesting. What I want to do for color, so right now by default this is the color curve they give you, which is a tangent. The tangents are auto or flat, so they're smoothed out on the top and bottom, but you start at a value of 1. So, you know, we could add a key here and make this value 1, and then make this value 0.2, and then this first key to be at a 0 time, and make this value 0. So we start faded out and then quickly ramp into faded in. And I think that kind of looks nice. And then we'll smoothly transition out again. Make this auto, yeah, and then flatten this curve here. Yeah, there you go. That's kind of nice. Okay, so what I want to do is make a couple of changes to this. We didn't give ourselves the ability to change the number of times this texture repeats. I think that might be kind of nice. So what we'll do is we'll use multiply here, and we'll plug this into all of the UVs down here. So multiply allows us to tile or repeat the texture some number of times in the X or Y direction. For us, that's going to be the X direction is the way that we want to kind of make this multiply work. Much like the appending or adding to the positional data, there is an X and a Y. And since we only want Y or X here, we're going to use another append. So we grab an append and we plug that into the multiply. Unreal's going to complain because we need to have values in the append, which is fine. We'll just give it 2 values and we'll call it, so we're only going to move in the X. So for the B part of the append, or Y in this case, we'll say 0. We don't want to move or scale in that axis, but we do want to scale in the X axis. So if we hold S and left click, we'll get a scale is what we're going to name it, and the default value will be 1, because that just means it'll look like exactly like the texture we got from Photoshop. But then if we save this, yeah, if we save this and we go back to our demo space, oh, interesting. Why can't we see you? Oh, maybe we never saved the project. Save, compile. Huh, interesting. Let's open up Rainbow. Huh. Do you not look like anything either? Interesting. Maybe the mesh renderer never actually, no? Oh, maybe my change in the shader messed something up. Scale is 1. Oh, so my append should be a 1, not a 0. If I append a, yeah, 1 to start. Yeah. Good call, Mark. You caught it just before I did. Yeah. 0 for the position change, but 1 for scale. Yeah. So there it is. Okay. So yeah, what I wanted to do was come over here to, awesome. Yeah. This is looking pretty cool. We'll delete the old mesh, and now we just have the particles here. What I wanted to do was just come over here to the material and double click the instance and drop it down here to the corner. and go back and look at the in-game and just change the scale to be something like 2, right? So now we're getting kind of a different patterning, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I do that all the time too, Mark. It's you know, it's hard to remember sometimes. So you can change these values, right? You can get some repetition here. I think 2 looks okay to me, actually. And we'll save that. And we'll go back to our particle system. Interesting. I kind of want it to be a flatter texture now that we're in the effect. I kind of, that kind of big bend in it is a little bit undesired at this point. So we could do some stuff to get there. But for now, what I want to do is go back to scale and choose a scale that's not so low to start. Oh, it's kind of bowing out and going back in because of the way that I did these tangents. So we'll use a scale of like 0.5. And then we'll just mess with this tangency a little bit here. Yeah, so it'll go out and settle. One thing we can do is go into Photoshop and grab this texture here and squeeze it. This is the fastest way to do this. And then save it, and then go back to Engine and let that import. Yeah, it's a little less wacky now. I do think it looks pretty cool though. Yeah. Oh, hey, thank you for showing up. ASAP Surus. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, my whole bag is just wanting to, you know, promote positivity and give more people more resources to learn this kind of craft. I think it's just a really fun, interesting job. I've been doing it for 10 years and I'm still not bored, and I just want other people to have that too. So thanks for coming, man. Thank you so much. I want to spin these. We can do that in a number of ways. We can do it randomly via the particle system. That's maybe not a bad option. So let's do that. And then we're going to add some cool little kind of specs and bits to it. And maybe we'll make it into a burst effect that just kind of like shoots out and then settles. Yeah, Niagara's. I think it's daunting for a lot of people, but it's not as scary as it seems. I think it's pretty doable. Maybe it's best to make this material additive. I'm trying to think through how I want to proceed. For now, let's just do the rotating because I think that might be kind of cool to do random rotations. So maybe we'll do it on spawn here. Rotation. Mesh orientation. Let's do. I'm sorry. We're gonna do it in an update. Orientation. If I could spell orientation. Where it is? Update mesh orientation. There we go. Right. So now we're gonna use a rotation rate, and we're gonna do it in the z-axis. So now they're rotating, and we'll just use a really low value, like a 0.2. Maybe even a 0.1 here. Yeah, and now they're just kind of rotating and settling, which is kind of cool. Let's use a random here. So you can add a random range to any value in Niagara, which is cool here. So now it's 0 to 1, but I'll do it. I'll make my min negative 0.1 and my max 0.1. And so we'll get kind of some different ways of settling here. I just did my first particle system this week, tackled it on a rainstorm. It's coming out pretty nice. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, ASAP. I think that's cool. Yeah, it's really, really fun. If you ever have any questions or just need a second pair of eyes on something you're working on, just reach out to me, man. I'm Let's Make Effects on every platform, and I'm always willing to help. So just come find me, all right? These particles, I think, maybe they live too long. let's change these lifetimes here. They're a little. I want to do 50% opaque, or I want to solve the issue with color where they're a little dark on the background. I don't think it's a problem here. You don't really notice it that much. In fact, if I hit G, yeah, it's pretty seamless. All right, it's pretty seamless. Maybe I'm complaining for nothing. I think it would be cool though to oh, interesting. That's why this looks a little cut off. I maybe need to paint that better because it looks like there's a little seam there. Wait, I lagged out when you said something about a second pair of eyes. Oh, it's just I was just saying, hey, if you ever just need someone to look at your work or give you some feedback or something, just let me know. You can reach out to me on any platform. Join the Discord. If you're not on our Discord yet, join the Discord. Let's Make Effects on every platform. Twitter, Instagram. Just send me a message. I'm always down to help. In fact, let me just make sure everyone has access to that. My Twitter. I have a link tree, and it has like all the links that you could ever need from me. So if anyone's unfamiliar with my work or have just never really encountered me yet, I'm here. It's a link tree. If you just click that link, it'll bring you to every way you can contact me. And I'm always happy to answer questions and help out if you need it. So just hit me up. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do here is I want to add some distortion. I want to get these pieces kind of a little bit more life. They're cool, but they're a little stagnant maybe. So let's try to figure out if we can do that, and then we'll add some extra kind of particle bits to it. Let's save all because I'm a neurotic saver. Let's see. Let's do one thing. One thing is once this got to be used the way that it got used, it kind of didn't pan out to be really as pretty a texture as I thought it would be. It's nice, but I think we could use one of the other ones we created. For everyone who joined us late, we were in Flame Painter, and we were just painting some interesting flame textures, and then we saved them out to the project. So let me throw another one of those in there and see if we can get something a little bit more kind of wispy and yeah. So maybe that'll be a little better. Let me just make sure none of these other ones feel. Maybe that one's good too. Kind of a bow in that one, but let's try one of these other ones. See what happens here. Because there's no rush to finish, which is the cool thing. There's no art director. we're just having fun. So I'll drag and drop that in here, and we'll zoom out just a sec and grab one more. Grab the whole thing. ASAP, let me know if you heard that. I'm down to help you is really what I'm trying to say, bud. If you have any questions or thoughts or concerns, I'm down to help. Just reach out to me. I'm gonna try this one instead. Maybe it gives us some more data to work with. It isn't gonna repeat yet. We're gonna have to do that work ourselves. Enter. And what I'm gonna do is cut out some of these like interesting bends and bows in the texture. We'll do something like this. Maybe might work for us. There you go. Okay, I'll type it. Find me. ASAP said they, because I don't know what you are, and everybody's welcome. I don't want to put your pronouns there for you, but they said that they couldn't hear me, so find me on social media at Let's Make Effects. I would love to help you if you need me. That goes for anyone. Find me out there at Let's Make Effects on everything. Okay, so I'm gonna use a crop. I'm gonna crop this thing here. So boom, edit. Normally I try real hard to save the artistic stuff to the end, but I kind of want to see if a separate texture, a new texture might help take some of the kind of weirdness out of the way this effect looks. So I'll offset this texture. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And we'll just drag this back. And we'll say okay, and we'll use my. Ooh, I just moved the camera, didn't I? Sorry about that. Now we're in a movie, Steadicam in it. Okay, so we'll just draw here. Yeah. Hey, it's no sweat. I've been an effects artist and started my career before as well, and I just think it's nice to have resources. So anytime you need me, I'm here. Here we go. Let's go down to 40 here. So a soft brush, and we're just painting out some of this middle foolishness. And we'll just use a clone stamp to bring it back later. See if we can make ourselves a little bit of a better texture. It doesn't have to be perfect, but nice is good. Just something that kind of helps to blend the two pieces together here. Maybe it's not going to be pretty. I'm not doing a great job, but I'm going to save. Oh, what about my levels here? Are my levels good? There's a way to turn seamless brush strokes in Flame Painter. I forgot where to set it up. Yeah, I haven't explored that. All of the forms of these kinds of like make textures quickly type programs are all just means to end to me, because you know, my hope is to get back to the engine and get there quickly. This is a test to see if this works all right. And so I never really explore them like to the nth degree. I think when people do, it's really cool, but that actually feels really interesting to me. Way more interesting. I don't know. How does everyone else feel? I like that more. I like that a lot more. Does everyone else feel good about that? I think so. Yeah, I think that's super pretty. Zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I know. That looks great. Yeah, I agree. Did I lose my blues and reds? They're there. It's just they're maybe the chroma needs to be pushed a little bit more to see them at a distance, but they're nice. They're there. They're giving us a little something here. What might be cool is to distort that. So a good way to do that is to your internet's chugging. Interesting. Let me see what the stream looks like on my side. No? Yeah? No, it looks pretty clear on my side, so yeah. Sorry for the chuggy internet, Mark. Let me know if you miss anything, and I'd be happy to just there'll be a VOD, so don't worry about it either. You can watch a YouTube video or whatever after if you miss anything. I'm gonna use a texture sample here, and the texture I'm gonna use. Let's just bury a noise texture into the alpha channel of this texture. I think that'll be useful. Come over here and we'll add an alpha, and in this channel we'll just we'll come up here and we'll make a new flat black channel, and then we'll go over here to filter and we'll go render clouds, and we'll save. Oops, sorry, we won't save. We'll control click this layer, right? Control click. Yep, copy. We'll turn off this layer and go to our background layer, and we'll paste into our alpha. What? Maybe my copy didn't work. Control click, copy. turn this off, go to my background layer. Oop. No, I don't need a new layer. Background layer. And then paste the alpha channel. There you go. Yep. Save. We can get more complicated later. So this texture import now has an alpha channel that is like a noise texture. Yeah, Spectrum is the worst, honestly. I'm upset that they're the only option. They're a monopoly, and they kind of, no one really likes them, and so, and they know that, but yeah, I want to add some distortion to these UVs. So we'll add to the red channel, green channel, and blue channel the same distortion, and instead of just adding the alpha channel flat out, I'm going to append it. Yeah, let's skip some extra work here. I'm gonna use two textures here. There's a cheaper way to do this, but I'm just gonna do it this way. I'm gonna use a texture coordinate, and I'm gonna slightly offset the second version of this distortion with an add here. And if I add, say, like 0.2, and add that to the UVs here, and then I use a second alpha, now this is going to be a 2-channel distortion. We could also, there's a lot of other ways to get to this point, but this is going to be 2 channels of clouds that are slightly offset from each other. That makes 2-channel distortion. And I don't know why it's not start previewing. Let's just look at that. Oh, did I not put a texture in them? That's funny. Flame 4. Flame 4, Flame 4. There we go. Now it'll preview. So yeah, so there's slightly offset cloud noise. Again, there's cheaper ways to do this than I would in the long run, but we're working for time here. So so we'll stop previewing this, and we'll add this to the UVs, but we'll multiply it by a value, so we can say how much we want to distort here. So we'll call this value distortion strength, and we'll make the value a 0 by default, and we'll plug that into this multiply, and then we'll add this to the UVs. So right now it'll do nothing, but when we finish the setup here, which all we're going to do is add this, copy paste, add this to all the other versions of the UVs as well. What we can do is distort our little rainbow chromatic texture, which is cool. One more add here, back up, copy paste, add this distortion here and here, and plug this into the UVs, and then we'll save. Hey, if anyone's enjoying this, make sure to follow the page and like and subscribe and all the things that streamers say. Do those things, because it supports me, and that's cool if you are willing and able. So we're going to change on the fly here in the material instance this distortion scale. We're going to see if we can get this texture to look a little more kind of wiggly. Yeah, look at that. We got a little bit of a wiggle there, which is cool, huh? That's awesome. So if we save this, by the way, and we go back to our material, and we actually move this distortion over time, we're going to get wiggling over time, which is cool. So if we add a panner here, and we yeah, we'll use 2 different panners, but we'll just use the same values, and we scroll this this distortion, this noise for the distortion, like say vertically in the Y direction, we can get some interesting distortion we'll use an append here to construct our speed. Append vector to construct our speed. Also, if anyone is interested in having this project that we're working on here on stream, I always make all of these projects available on Patreon. So anyone who's a Patreon supporter gets access to all this stuff. So you can go there and support me if you want. Let's just create two values. The first one is going to be speed x. Distortion speed x. And then we'll just copy this. Copy. Man, I don't know how streamers do it, where they like have this mic in front of them and they don't bump it all the time. I'm like terrified that I'm gonna hit it, and I don't want to cause anybody any like crazy audio issues. So this won't be scrolling at all initially, but then we'll. Aw, hey, ASAP, that's so cool, man. Thank you. You're my second subscriber, and I just super appreciate that. That's super, super awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming today. I'm so glad to meet you. That's so awesome. Let's save. Let's save, and we're gonna scroll this vertically. Thank you again, ASAP. That's super cool, man. Thank you. And we're gonna scroll this in the Y direction. Something like 0.1 maybe. Maybe even 0.5. Yeah, so we're getting some of that wiggle. I think our scale is maybe making it harder to see, so we'll go down to a 1. So you can see there's a little bit of kind of wiggling going on. Maybe it's harder to see. 0.2. Yeah, so we're getting a little bit of wiggle there, which is cool. Yeah, that's awesome. It kind of looks like a flower, doesn't it? It's pretty awesome. Oh, Code Tech Ninja, thank you, man. I appreciate the support, everyone. That's super cool of you. This is a cool effect. Yeah, hey, any support that anyone gives me on this channel is super valued and appreciated. I know I'm at the start, but it's just nice to have people want to come back. So thank you. Aw, thanks, man. Thank you so much, ASAP. Save. Okay, let's do some little chromatic dots, and yeah, and we'll add a couple of extra things. Because of all the support, let's go to like 2:30 today. Let's just keep working on stuff. Let's just make some stuff. Let's add some random dots here, and make those chromatic as well. I think that'd be kind of cool. My dog is go lay down, buddy. I'm getting the big feels right now from all the support. Don't he always wants to be part of the show. Get out of here. Yeah, let's go over to the content browser. This is like a quick and interesting, like a quick little chromatic study here. So if we go to m_chroma_dots, we'll make ourselves some little chromatic dots. I think those would be awesome. So if we look at this on a plane, we'll do the same setup we used for a chroma ring, which is unlit. So we'll use unlit, translucent. We'll go back to opaque just in case anyone missed it. We'll just show it again. So the way this works is we can use a radial gradient in Unreal to create just a generic soft gradient, circular gradient here. And the way Chromatic Aberration works is that you can append 3 masks together in the R, G, and D channels with slight offsets, and that'll give you aberration. So if I use an append here, and I duplicate that again, and I use 3 radial gradients, and we plug this in, and we'll call this one, just like we did with the other textures, we'll click on this, and we'll call this one R. We'll call this one G. And we'll call this one B. Yep, and then so we'll plug these into appends, and we'll append this append, and now we're generating a vector 3 here, right? So we'll plug that vector 3 in. This isn't going to look interesting at all until we do some offsetting. So that offsetting comes in the position data, right? So right now for radial gradients, the position is calculated for this material function that comes in Unreal by default. The position is controlled by the center point, and the default value of that is 0.5.5, which means it's the center of the UV space, halfway through the middle of X and halfway through the middle of Y. So if we want to have our R and our B have that slight offset, that same offset we have in our rainbow material, our chroma ring material, we would just take our texture coordinate, or we would take a texture coordinate and add a little bit to it. But since this is just controlling the position by itself, we'll just do appends here. It's looking for a vector 2, right? So because it's 0.5.5, we'll throw appends in here, and we'll just do, for these two values, we'll do 0.6.6. So we'll just do that, right? And then the other value will be 0.4.4, right? So you already see we're slightly offset here. The other value will be 0.4.4, and I'll show you an easy way to make this change without having to do it in both areas. But you can see how we're getting this kind of color spectrum, this rainbow effect here, right? That's what chromatic aberration is. It's just slight offsets to that center mask to give us those kind of ranges of color on the edges after we append, right? So super simple. We don't want this stuff to go off the UV space, so we'll choose a value that really works here. Maybe we'll test one out to make sure. We'll use like a 0.51, and we'll use copy paste. No, sorry, don't need to do that. We'll use a 0.49. Sorry, 0.49. 49 is going to be a lot. 0.49. Oh, yeah. Chroma's cool. I know there's a lot of cool effects artists out there on the internet who are doing this exact thing to make their effects look a little bit better. I know a lot of Japanese artists use, Asian artists, China, Japan, Korea, use a lot of like chromatic aberration on their impact rings and things like that. It adds like an extra element of flavor that I really love about the work that comes out of that region. I would do something like 0.5, and then I'd say add here, and I'd add right click, and we'll convert this to a parameter and call this offset. Offset of 0.1. Default value of 0.1, and so I'd add it to this value and then use that as the center position. I don't need the append because, again, like I said earlier, if I need two values or a way to input a vector 2 and I input a vector 1, Unreal sort of helps us out by saying, oh, you meant to make this a vector 2 where I use the same singular float twice. So it's doing that for us here as well. And I'll do the same thing down here, except I'll use a subtract. And I'll subtract the offset from the kind of base value there. And I don't need a vector 2, just a vector 1. And it should look the same. Right, so slight offset. And interesting, I want to do, what if this value was 0.01? That's the one I was looking for. Okay. So that gives us our little chromatic aberration dot, which is cool. So we're gonna do the same thing we did for the other one. And again, we need to maybe solve for how this works, but we're gonna make this transparent, right? Or maybe additive would have been better for the other one too. I have some thoughts about this, but we're gonna add these masks together, and then another add, and that's gonna make up our opacity here. And boom. So now we'll just add that to the opacity value, and that gives us our fall off on the edges. Yeah, let's not use additive because I think we're gonna lose color in a weird way. Let's just do this for now. And we'll save it, and then we'll go add this to the effect. Hope everyone is having a good Saturday. What? Plane shift? That's so cool. I've never been rated before. I don't even know how that works, but that's awesome. Thank you for coming over. Greetings. Greetings. Thank you for coming on a Saturday. Happy Saturday to you. Happy Saturday. Hello. Hi, Plane Shift. We were working on some interesting chromatic stuff. Hopefully this is kind of cool for you to come see. Thank you for rating the stream. That's super kind of you. Yeah, we're just working on some cool Niagara stuff. I just created a chromatic dot kind of effect. So I'm gonna add that to the particles that we already have here. I'm gonna go over here to our rainbow rings and as well. Oh, with / raid name of channel before you close the stream. Oh, okay, awesome. We'll reach out to me. Reach out to me with your a link to your stream. I'll raid you next time, or you know, someone else who you know. That's really cool. I'm very new to streaming, so yeah, I work on special effects. That's my job. My 9 to 5 is making effects work. Hello everyone. Thank you for coming in. Let's do dots. Yeah. So I just made a chromatic aberration material. Chromatic aberration is like the rainbowy stuff you see when light bends through like glass or like a water surface. Oh, hey you. Yeah, good to see you, bud. Oh, I didn't need a light renderer. I'm looking for a sprite renderer here. We're making effects in Unreal Engine 5 today. I got a new graphics card and was really stoked about trying to get it to work on stream today. So if anything looks wonky or is terrible, please tell me and we'll try to fix it. But for now, we made this really cool kind of chromatic ring shape, which is awesome. So stare into that. It's kind of nice. It's mesmerizing a little bit. So yeah, so we're just adding dots to that. So if we come over here with our little chromatic dots, you can see they got a little color on them. Ooh, a little color on the edges, and we can mess with that the distance on the chromatic value here. We can come over here to offset, and if we increase that a little bit, we get a little bit more color. You see? Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for subscribing. That's really, thanks, man. Jeez, everyone's been so kind today. This is awesome. I mean, everyone is normally kind, but it's really, really nice to get supported. Thank you for doing that. Thank you so much. You. So yeah, so we just added a little color to the edges of the ring here, and that'll help them stand out in the particle system over here. And all I really want to do with this stuff is just make some cool floaty particles. Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. So we don't need mesh orientation. This is for our mesh. We don't need that. We don't need scale. That's for a mesh. And then we're going to go back to our particle stuff here. So if we go to initial particle and we have random sizes for our sprites and random rotations, but we need a little velocity. Let's add some velocity to this. We'll use a cone. Velocity. Yeah, we'll use a cone, and initial velocity, strength, let's make it 100. Oh, now they're gonna fire out. Yep, so now we got our particles going here. Let's turn that cone upward instead. And we'll save this and we'll add it to the other particle system, and that way we can have everything in the same scene here. And you know, we're gonna do this. We're gonna turn off the reflection capture and the skybox. Oh, we do want the light, but we don't want the atmospheric fog or the floor. Oh, harder to see for sure, huh? Okay, so we'll leave the floor. I was trying to give us a ooh, post-processing volume would be nice. We'll do that after this. Let's go to the particles, and we'll add this to the system so that our new dots will come over here, and we'll do so in UE5 they like offer you all the templates as well, but PS dots is what we want here. So now back in editor, we'll see our dots kind of floating out, which is cool. So I want these to feel a little bit more kind of ethereal and kind of small and less visible. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that here in a second. We'll come over here to our size, and we'll use like a 3, 1, and we'll save that. And so now they're a little bit less kind of visible, and we'll let them hang in the air as opposed to just shooting out. So we'll add drag, a little bit of drag here, and it's going to give you an error here, but it's because your drag isn't above the solver here. So if you just hit fix issue, it'll reorder them. So we'll zoom in so we can see kind of what's going to happen here. What I want is to add a little bit of curl noise. So curl noise is kind of cool. Do you have any tips on how to avoid seeing big particle planes when looking in first person? I do. You can fade them out. There's a tip I put on social media the other day where you can essentially get the distance away from that particle from the camera, and if you're close, you'll fade them out, and if you're far away, they're visible. So you can make them completely transparent and then turn off the system, and that'll save you on paying for the cost of particles that are right in the face of the camera. So you should totally check that out on the Discord in the shader bits and tips section. What I wanted to do was curl noise. That's what I was doing. Curl noise. Right, so we'll come over here and we'll add that, and same issue, but above the solvers, what's important. And if you add a bunch of curl noise to these, they'll kind of swirl around and do some different things. They'll be kind of a little bit more floaty and movie. 300 is maybe easier to see. You see how they're kind of like doing their own thing, going off in their own kind of direction as opposed to just going straight up in the air now. So that's kind of cool. One of the things I wanted to do was instead of just using generic particles, let's make these into kind of some sparks. How about that, right? So let's align them to their velocity. And then instead of having them just be kind of square or uniform size, we're gonna make them kind of elongated. So if we go to non-uniform, we can make them 1 by 3, maybe? Yeah, so now it's a bit easier to see how they're kind of spinning and whirling around a little bit. They're not as bright as I maybe want them to be. I want this rainbow color to really show. I did that already, but the ones spawning far away in the sky are still visible when they looked from below the plane. It's really visible. Interesting. Well, you can have, you know, that range that you're checking for can be both how close you are and how far you are, right? You can flip the gradient you're using to say, if I'm far away, you know, fade them out as well. You done that? Let me know. I'm gonna go over to Chroma Dots, and I'm gonna go to here, and I'm gonna just give us a way to increase this brightness. So we'll do emissive. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to multiply the results of this by some value. We're going to call this emissive brightness. Right click, convert to parameter. Emissive strength, maybe is better. Emissive strength. And we're going to just make this a value of 1 initially. And then we're going to drag this up here. I'm going to plug this in. Boom. We're going to save. So I think what we're going to do to start is ramp this up to some crazy value so we can really make sure we're seeing our color glow on our sparks. So if we go over here to demo space and that's pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Yeah, totally let me know ASAP. So yeah, so in Chroma Dots, if we go to emissive strength and we turn this up to like, let's just use 50 or something, pretty bright, right? So back in editor, we should be able to see those a little bit better. And I think this is why we're gonna need our post-process volume. Okay, so in the world outliner, we're gonna, in place actors, we're gonna go to volumes and we're gonna go to post-process volume. If we drop that in here and we hit G so we can see it again, and we go down to, I think our lighting is washing out some of our color is really what I'm thinking. So if we go down to on our post-process volume, which is what I'm selected on, good. If we go down here to infinite extend, it sort of is saying, do you want the extents of the effects of this volume to be only within the volume, or you can check unbound here, and it'll be anything that this volume does it everywhere. So if we come up here and we go to exposure and we set a min and max brightness, then the lighting in this scene won't wash out our color as much. So we're starting to get a little bit more color there. So we hit G, you'll see a little bit more color on the particles. And then if I go to bloom and I hit intensity, I can turn this up to like 1. And then so what'll happen is if I go back to Chroma, am I using the instance in Chroma Dots, by the way? That's a question. Yeah, see, I'm not using the instance. There's the instance. Now they're glowy. Yeah, way more glowy now. That's good. That's what we're liking here. Okay. I want to do the same for the rings. I'd like to see some more color in them. But I think the dots, because we have that separation here, let's go a little further with the color, because I think they're going to just get smushed down anyway. Yeah, there you go. So I was having this problem in UE5. I wanted to give everyone the solution to this problem. If you zoom out, can you all see this on stream? There's this kind of like smearing that's taking place here. This particle smearing. Let me look at the stream and see if it's visible for you. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So it is smearing. So the solution to this problem is, or what's taking place here that makes it smeary, is temporal AA. It's like dithering, essentially, is what's doing that. And the way you can solve that problem is you can come up here to project settings, and I'll just show you what I'm doing. Also, I'm going to set the map, the default map here, so that every time I open the game, it goes to my demo map instead of this project. It goes to my demo map instead of some crap temp project. So if you search in here for AA, you'll see the anti-aliasing setting. So its kind of default value is AA, and essentially what that does is it tries to kind of blur out distant emissives, and I don't really like that. So I switch it to effects AA, and you can see how much more glowy this is, right? You can see way more of your texture. It's not kind of I don't know, trying to use math to kind of blend out stuff. You're seeing the kind of the full brightness of your texture now, which is way better to me. So there's a little tip for you. That's how you fix that problem. So if I zoom out now, yeah, it's not visible, which is cool. What I really don't like about this effect, by the way, is these edges. I don't like how after they start to kind of become invisible, they kind of start to get visible again. I got to figure out why that is. But I do like how we're making this kind of interesting chroma flower thing going on. It's pretty awesome. Let's figure out if we can fix that edge issue. And then I also want to make the emissive color brighter. So let's multiply this, the results of these appends in our rings by a value here. And we'll call that emissive brightness, just like we did for our dots. So Chroma Dots, Chroma ring material. And then, yeah, so for our dots, we just did a multiply by emissive strength. So we'll just copy this, why not? Paste it here, multiply by emissive strength, and we'll save. I think to decipher, the shader's compiling. To decipher what's going on with the rings, why they're doing this kind of weird edge, we're gonna have to look at them individually, but let's get them to be bright like the dots. The dots are about 50 on the emissive scale. That might be kind of crazy for the rings, but we'll see. If we come over here to the chroma ring instance, sorry. Oh, they're offset because of the, I think they're offset because of the distortion. They are offset because of the distortion. That's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to fix that with math here in a second. Let's up the emissive glow to 50. Oh, let's see what that looks like in Engine. Oh, way too bright. 50 is way too bright. That's what I figured. Let's just do 10 or something. Let's see. Yeah, it's better. It's better. Okay, let's fix the problem. I think I know how to fix it. Come over here, and we will, since we're distorting, we'll just give ourselves the ability to kind of offset ourselves back the other direction, slightly. So, oh, maybe no, because that's before. Yeah, we'll do one more line of math here to adjust that offset. So we'll add yeah, we'll just use an add. I think an add will do us. Add and maybe scale. So we can use constant bias scale to do this, but constant bias scale, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to, since the distortion is offsetting us up and to the right a little bit, we're going to offset ourselves down into the up and to the left a little bit. We're going to offset ourselves down into the right a little bit. And you can use constant bias scale to do that, but a constant bias scale is just addition and multiplication that's allowing you to scale and offset. So we're just going to do that manually ourselves. 1, 2, and we're going to call both of these bias offset, and we call the other one bias scale. Oop, get out of here. Parameter. Bias scale. And so our default scale is going to be 1, and our offset's going to be 0 for now. And we're just going to do this math everywhere else. Yeah, there you go. Plug that into here. We use the same scale and offset. And what this will give us is just the ability to keep ourselves onto the UV space and not get offset so much that we get that kind of weird edging. I think that's going to fix our problem. So add this and scale this, and then let's save. If we go back to our material instance where this chroma ring is, we're going to use our offset to get us back. Yeah. So bias offset to get us back onto the UV space where we want to be. Yeah, I think this will fix it. Save. Yeah, awesome. Super cool. Yeah, that's really cool looking, huh? I think that's pretty awesome. You know what we should do? Okay. We're gonna distort the background with this. We're gonna and how about this too? Okay. This is where effects gets fun for me, because I like to start like thinking about how this is useful, like what I could be doing with this. This is really cool looking. I like it a lot. Yeah, so what I'll do is, let's put this on a, no, Osiris, stop, buddy. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. Okay. Everyone say hi to Osiris. Come here, bud. Come here. Come on. Everyone say hi to Osiris. Let me make sure they can see you, okay? Let me make sure they can see you. They can see you. Hi, Sai. Okay. I love you. You're a good boy. That's so good. But you're interrupting the stream, Bubba. Yes, you're interrupting the stream. You're interrupting. Sai. Okay. That's enough for dog watch. Okay. Go lay down, okay? Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go ahead. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. Okay. Yeah, he's a ham. He just needs attention. What I want to do over the next 15 minutes is just like, add a couple of other extra cool things to the effect before we get out of here. Lay down. Come on. Lay down. Be good. We have about 15 or so more minutes. Okay, here we go. So in Chroma Ring, I'd love to do some refraction. I want to distort the background. I think that's kind of cool. So to do that, we just need to add some refraction. So the way I'll do that is come over here and we'll go down to Index of Refraction. Don't I need to think it to myself? Yeah, I don't need to do anything. Okay, so we're going to use a lerp here, linear interpolate, and we'll plug the opacity, the final result of that, into this lerp. And so Index of Refraction is like, it's going to take the frame and distort it, and then redraw where the pixels are. It's kind of like taking where the pixel position is of a current pixel and then offsetting it slightly. And if you use some random noise or something like that, or our mask in this, we can distort the pixels based on where our chromatic aberration is. So the floor value, or the bottom value of refraction, is 1. And then the value that you want to actually distort stuff is called the index of refraction. So we'll change this to be a parameter called IOR, index of refraction. And a good index of refraction, in fact, the one that people use for water, is 1.3. 1.33. So we'll throw that into refraction. And what's going to happen is it's going to give us this normal here, and instead of going and getting a normal map, we're going to use the appended aberration as the normal. I think this is going to work. I'm going to save this and we're going to check it out. Let's zoom in. Hang on, Osiris. We got about 15 minutes, buddy. Don't worry. I have 3 dogs, by the way, everyone. All rescues. And they're lovely. They're just really nice, sweet boys. And I'm so glad that I got the chance to just, give them a home. I'm happy about that. So, is index of refraction actually distorting the background? Let's turn off, in our particle system, let's turn off our dots. Where is our particle system? Oh, I almost UE4'd it for a second there. In particles, particle system, and save all. I'm a compulsive saver. I'm gonna turn off dots. Let's just look at the rings themselves. I don't know that they are actually distorting the background. I'm not sure. Let's turn off dots. Close chroma dots, rings, rings. Is this, okay, so this is rainbow ring. Oh, yeah, it is. It is actually distorting the background. Do you see that? It's pretty cool looking, huh? Wow. Okay, how about this? Because I think this is how you could use this practically as a particle system. I'm gonna save as the rainbow ring. We're gonna duplicate it and we're gonna call this rainbow ring burst. This is how we'll close today. Rainbow ring burst. And in rainbow ring burst, we're gonna let's create a new system from rainbow ring burst. Sorry, save all. Make sure we don't lose all of our stuff again. Right click, create materials or an aggr system, and then back here, it'll just be rainbow ring burst. So singular burst. So instead of this, let's just use burst. And then in burst system, so we can actually get a good look at what this looks like, because it's pretty cool looking. In burst system, we're gonna stop using spawn rate, and we're gonna do burst instantaneous. And so we're gonna burst one particle, and then for emitter state, it's not gonna be, maybe it'll be infinite. Infinite's fine. Yeah. Okay, so we'll save that, and we'll go back to the engine. So it is distorting the background. It's hard to see because of how bright our color is, so I'm gonna do something about that. That's why I wanted to switch them, because I didn't want to lose our previous work. But what I do want to do is come over here to materials, and let's set this brightness back to 1. Yeah. That's kind of cool, huh? Can you guys see that that's distorting the background? That's really awesome. Okay. If I were an effects artist, lol, I am, and I wanted to make this look cooler, I would, I'm gonna undo the subdivision that we have here, and I'm gonna go into tab, and I'm gonna go to top view, and I'm gonna scale these so the rings are a little bit less fat in the center, and then I'm gonna go back to tab, and I'm gonna do that subdivide again. I'm in Blender right now for anyone who missed that the beginning part of this. Blender is my modeling program of choice. So I'm going to export FBX cylinder ring, and we're going to come back here, import the new ring. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. So if we did multiples, it would be even cooler, but let's turn off the yeah, there you go. I like this. So you could use this in a particle system, right? To like denote where something is dropping or landing or whatever, right? And we could use multiples too. We're only bursting one ring right now. We could burst, 5. They could all be rotating faster. So initial mesh orientation, we can make it, point. We can make them all go in the same direction. Instead of a random range, we could do like a 0.2. We could have the lifetimes be random. Oh, they are random. Awesome. Yeah, right? So, poof, poof, right? It's near 2:30 over here. Yeah. Hey, good night, good night. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah. We'll do this last 5 minutes. I think this is, we're just playing around at this point. I just really like this effect. I think it's starting to look kind of like a cool effect. I would maybe, since we're doing a burst now, make the starting scale be like a 0.2 instead, so we get a little bit more kind of use out of it. Yeah. Nice. I like it. Okay. Save all, and we'll add a little starburst. How about that? And we'll call it good, because I like this effect a lot. I think the burst version is really cool. I'm glad we got to kind of throw around some stuff and try something. Here's a quick star. In the material, we're gonna call this m_star. I'm gonna cheat and go find the math for it on our Discord. If you're not part of our Discord, you should join it. It's really, really fun. We just talk a lot about effects work and nerd out. It's super cool. I'm gonna go to our Discord. So, you know, if you're watching the stream right now, I'm on our Discord. Here in our Shader Bits and Tips channel, there's a bunch of cool just tips and things that like will really help to enhance the work you're working on. It shows you a bunch of math, and people take part in it and add their own spin to them. It's really awesome. Join our Discord. Come be a part of this. I think you'd love it there. If you're an effects artist or someone who's interested in game development, jump in and be part of this cool community that's growing and really becoming something. I'm gonna drop a link in the chat here. 1 second. Let's make effects. Go to my link tree and get the Discord, copy link, and we'll go to the chat and we'll paste. Live feedback one day. Nice to do live feedback one-on-one someday. Yeah. So explain that to me, Asa. Actually, reach out to me on Discord and talk to me about that. I'd love to do that. I'll give feedback if it's helpful to people. I'd love that. That'd be cool. Yeah, let's close this out with like a cool star, math star. I was trying to cheat and do it quickly. There we go. Yeah, this will be fast. Okay. So the way to make a star is texture coordinates. Right click. Texture coordinates. Also, I don't know this is I'll send you a message. Yeah, please. Yeah, please do, man. Dynasty. I don't even know who that is, but I'll give them a follow. Are they a Twitch streamer? If they are, I'll get the info from you when you reach out, because always glad to meet new artists. So we'll subtract a half, and that gives us this kind of like checker patterned UVs you see here. And then everything else kind of comes off that. You get a break, and you multiply both gradients from the break against each other, and you'll see the result of that here. So again, checker pattern, and then we get the absolute value, and absolute value means if you're negative, you're positive. If you're positive, you're positive. So all positive values, and so you get the start to this star, right? Then you multiply this by some really high value. I normally do 1,000 here, and that just removes a lot of the kind of fall off, right? So you get that kind of tiny star, and then 1 minus which means wherever I'm white, be black, and wherever I'm black, be white. So it flips it, and now you get a star. I know that was fast, but I hope everyone caught all of that. So now we have a little star here. And the way you kind of keep the edges of that star from going to the edge is you get a length here, which is just a distance check. We could use distance, but Unreal has a length check. So it's a vector 2, and we want to divide the results of that length check by a tiny number, so we can just get a little bit of fall off on that edge there. So 0.05, or 0.25, I'm sorry, is what I used when I did this. And then I just multiply the edge fall off by the star, and then that gets us a star. Now, all I really want to do here is save this and go back to the editor and go to the content folder and go to particles, and we'll just copy dots, copy paste, and we'll open this up. And instead of dots, we're going to use our star, and no velocity cone, no drag, no curl noise, and we should be seeing a star though. Why don't I see a star here? Oh, there it is. There it is. It's the oh, and we don't need this to be velocity aligned. So now they're just all, there we go. Nice. That's what we wanted. And instead of a spawn rate, we're going to delete that, and we're going to add, we're going to add a burst. So really what I'm trying to do here is spawn a star. I'm realizing now that my star material is, it is not translucent. So let's just do that real quick. Unlit, translucent, save. Oh, I'm silly. Opacity, and then emissive color is just gonna be 1. If we had just a couple more minutes, I would have, but I don't want to go too far past 2:30. I would have made this star chromatic, and I probably will before I put this up on Patreon. So all I'm going to do is add a little starburst to the center of this, and then that's the end of the effect. So hopefully that's not too long for anybody else. So here on update, we're going to do scale, and we're going to do sprite size, and we're going to do float. So they'll get a vector 2 from a float, so 1 value for both scales. And then we're going to do a curve. So we're going to do a curve, and the value of that curve is used for x and y. And so, yeah, so now you see it kind of coming into existence and shrinking down. These particles probably live too long at this point. So we'll do direct set, and we'll do 0.5. And we'll have an initial value for size here in initial particle. We'll set this to be uniform, and we'll set it to be 30. Ooh, wow. Okay. And then just so we can see where we're going with this, if I go over to burst system and I add emitter, where is it? What's the new system called? Is it Dots 2? Yeah, I was silly. I didn't name it anything good. Dots 2. I'll rename it to star later. If I do Dots 2, yeah, right. So, ping. It's really small, but it's working. All I have to do is go into star. Or I'm sorry, Dots 2, and change the scale, particle scale, to be 200. There you go, right? Bing. That's all I really wanted. Yeah. Bing. So it's kind of nice. That's like a very simple particle system, right? It's like bing, and then something happens. So if the star was chromatic, I think it would really kick it up a notch. But I think that's okay, because we showed you how to do chromatic earlier. So let's put it down for now. Hey, thank you everyone for coming today. This was just awesome. I just really appreciate all of the support and everyone being here and joining me for the stream. I have a really good time doing this with you all. So happy to be giving anybody advice or information. Find me on Discord. Let's Make Effects everywhere. The Let's Make Effects Discord is open to anyone. We accept everyone at exactly where they are. You don't have to be, a veteran. You don't have to be good at this. You could have never touched visual effects. I will give you all of my help to become an effects artist or game developer if that's your dream or your goal. That's the point of Let's Make Effects. That's why I started it, was to give people help, the help that I didn't have when I started in this industry 10 years ago. It was a rocky start, and I just want to let other people hurdle over that and be part of this. It's just a great place to be. If you're an artist or a person who's just interested in games, we want you in the industry. I want you to be in the industry. So let me know how I can help you. Continue to support the stream, support the Patreon, support the people on Discord. Our community is growing, and I would love for you to be part of it. Come join us, okay? You have a wonderful Saturday, and we'll see you next time, okay, friends?